Hey everybody, what's up? Ray here again, and this is finally project update number 4 on my Merath series. If you've been wondering where I've been busy getting addicted to Dungeons and Dragons. But anyway, I've done some stuff, so let's take a look at that. I have done a lot of stuff, I have started a lot of stuff, and I've finished exactly that house over there. This one single house is something that I actually, completely finished. So everything else is started, but not finished. So yeah, that's yours truly for you. Again, just to hammer down the point, don't think I can ever stop hammering down on this point, but this is an advantage of not doing time-lapse videos, is that I can, which is exactly what I've done, plan out things. I can plan things. This is mostly what all of this unfinished stuff is. I mean, except for these buildings here, they are not just planned. They are actually built, but just not finished. But with all of this here, all of this, that over there, this, and all of that, yeah, this is planning work, And so I've been planning out this entire area from all the way over there, all the way across here, across the main street, and all the way here and this area as well. Not completely, perfectly planned out, of course, but this is generally what I've been doing, planning out things and building in between, I suppose. So let's actually talk about what I've been planning out. So what I started out with was continuing the planning and design of this swamp backyard thing here. So you can see I finished up the walls here. It's really only this little bit that's not really walled off at this point. Everything else is walled off, even though these walls aren't randomized yet, but well, I'll get to that at some point. So this is what I started with, just finishing this up, starting on this building, I suppose. Starting and actually finishing up that building, because I do in fact finish things, just not necessarily that often. But anyway, from here I have moved over to this area, which I plan to be, some sort of gated community. The term is obviously a modern term. The medieval people wouldn't have that term, gated community, but it would be basically that. If I go down here, you can see that there's this gate in the middle here. If you come down this stair, there's this gate here. Over there, there's a gate over there. And over here, there's another gate down there. And these are the only entrances. There might be one or two more to that direction, but they will be gated off as well. And you can already see that I built this wall here. Well, more planned this wall, but you know what I'm getting at. And this will probably continue all the way across. Not sure if this will actually be the full-on wall here, or if it will be parts of buildings or whatever. But the idea is that this is an elevated area, and the buildings here are, well, on that elevated area with this little central plaza, central just park, I suppose, in the middle. This will be like a more of a half-circular arch. What do you call it? Arches. It will be arches arranged in a circular pattern, half-circular pattern, and then just greenery in the middle. And around it will be buildings and buildings and buildings, and they always only will have entrances towards this inner circle of roads, this inner road circle here. They will not have any entrances to the outside, because they are completely gated off that way. Yeah, that's what I was planning. Little well over there. You can see that I actually elevated this area, and I'm planning to build 2 buildings here, although I originally intended for this to be 2 buildings, but now seeing the size of this, might just be 1 building with an archway in the middle for the path, but yeah, And then from there I went along the main street and built all of this. So I started with this building, this little, it's not really a hill, this little elevated piece here. I extended that all the way towards the main street here and put the buildings on top. This building, the first one here, is half on top and half not, so this part here is not really on top of the elevated part, but this half here is. And then again you have a bridge connecting the two, and then you have the second building here. this like facade, like this facade and this facade, as well as this stuff, that's mostly planning, except for maybe the details on the greenery there. But this is mostly for planning. This is not for actually like finishing up the buildings or anything. This is mostly for just planning out how the facade is supposed to look eventually, you know. So this is mostly still planning work. But yeah, I pulled out this hilly, this elevation here, and just created this little blocked off area. And this is something that I kind of focused on in the planning of this, because what you remember how in the previous videos I talked about the city just feeling like buildings put down on a plane, you know, less like a city but more just buildings put down on a flat plane. One reason, in my opinion at least, is that there's no interesting height interactions between buildings and roads or anything like that. It is really just flat with streets everywhere between the buildings, and you can go from everywhere to everywhere easily, and that's just boring, you know. Over here, what I've done is create several spaces where paths connect, for example, like here this upper path and the main street here, where they like connect on the horizontal layer, but on the vertical they just don't. So they are basically next to each other, but they don't connect. You can't get from one to the other unless you're jumping down or something, but you know, you're not intended to walk from one to the other. And this is something that I've built all the way, so you can see I have built it here. It is somewhat here with the explicit stair as this connection, which makes it a lot more interesting than just having it just gently move up, you know. This is like explicitly, okay, these are two separate layers. This is specifically higher than this down here, and that elevation change just makes it more interesting to explore the city. And you can see that over here as well with this platform here that I built. The main reason why this path is here is to have them connect here horizontally but not vertically again, you know, so you can actually have this path here, maybe a little bench over here or something for people to sit. But then when you're down here, you know there's a path up there, but how you get there? Well, you'll have to actually move around, and you'll have to navigate the city to get around. This is even more pronounced with a bit on the main street, because there's this entire path that moves parallel to the main street, but you have to move all the way around the building there, or all the way around the building there to actually get to it. But then again, on the back side, it just connects to the rest of the city normally, which like, it's not just an elevated platform that you get up at specific places, because that again would be less boring than just a flat plane, but it would be kinda obvious, you know. So this way, on one side you have the explicit hard cutoff with the walls, and on the other side it just connects back into the city. Same thing with that platform over there. Right? And it will be the same thing with this gated community thing here. It will have all of these walls, and we might have some paths going out, and even if we don't have paths going out, we will have like backyards or whatnot. But we always have these hard walls here that go along here, but to that side it will just connect to the rest of the city. Again, there will be the gates, but you know, otherwise, except for the gates, there won't be a specific like height cutoff here. It will just connect to the rest of the city here. Another example of this can be seen right here, where you have this path going all the way up to the swamp pits backyard thingy, and this road also going all the way towards it. It actually moves over here. But then if you're on one side of this, like, how do you get to the other side? Again, you'll either go through the gated community, or you'll have to get all the way around the entire building thing to get over here. Again, it'll give you this glimpse of, oh, there's some, like, imagine you're exploring this city without flying like I always do, right? You'll see this other bit of street there that you will likely want to explore, because that's why you're there. So you want to explore that bit of street there, but you'll first have to figure out how to do it, and it's all interconnected, you know? Similar to how this backyard area here is connected, like this road bit here is connected with the backside of this cafe thingy or tea house thingy, and you know, everything is connected in some way, but also separated in other ways, which, yeah, just makes a much more compelling and much more interesting structure for the city than just roads and houses in between, you know. So, yeah, that's mostly what I've been focusing on with all the planning. Let's get into some details. So when talking about the details, it of course only makes sense to start with the one building that I've actually finished. So let's take a look at that. It's actually not that interesting, to be honest. It's just a building, it doesn't have a specialization yet, it's just an empty building. And I haven't considered what to do with it just yet, it's just a building at this point. And in terms of the structure and the looks, it's nothing special, it's just your generic run-of-the-mill building as a lot of the others. One interesting detail about the building itself is maybe this roof terrace, which I really like, the atmosphere of it. But again, it's nothing like too crazy, you know. However, there's one detail that I want to touch on, and that is these garlands that I put in between the buildings. They are nothing new, the city actually had a few of them in between already, but very sparsely. And you can see that I've put quite a few more here in between these buildings. Right, so we have one here, one there. If we move over here, there's one somewhere close by there. And I also added one all the way over here between these two buildings that have already been finished like ages ago, you know. But I added these garlands and I want to add more of them because I want to make this like a staple feature of the city. And like probably the two main things that give the city character will be all of the flowery stuff. This is actually like all of the level of greenery that I have between the flowers and the streets, between the houses and the streets. I'm sorry. The level of flowers that I have in between the houses and the streets is actually unusual. Let's say. Usually, like in a quote-unquote normal city, you wouldn't have this much greenery bits here. You would have your green bits. You would have like your parks and whatnot, but usually not all of this planting going on all the way across the city. That's something rather unusual, something that distinguishes this city from other big wealthy cities, you know. And the other thing, I just want them to work with, you know, colorful wool, colorful cloth. So having these garlands, having these awnings like this one that I introduced in the last update. Having all this kind of stuff, like the whole point of the city is that it's, on one hand it has this rather relatively grey, brownish, grandiose architecture to it, but at the same time, in contrast to that, it has, like on a human scale, this very colorful, very green, very lush, like feel to it, you know. So I want to do that, I want to focus more on that, so I want to add more of these garlands, more of these awnings. One more awning here, by the way. Not a colorful one, but, you know. Yeah, this is something I want to focus on quite a bit more. In terms of other details, yeah, with these buildings, you can see I've actually got a bit out of my comfort zone and done a bit of this open thing here. This is actually not that easy to do with this style, having like an open archway thing without walls. I've done this before over here with the dye trader, but I've never been 100% happy with the way this looks, and I might revisit this. It's like, it's okay, but it's not amazing, you know. And this, keep in mind that the style is heavily based on a style created by an old friend of mine called Ravik, and I actually just literally copied this bit from his city, which I have on the server. But yeah, I actually literally just copied this, and it looks significantly better than what I did over on the dye trader, you know. But yeah, I really like this. Working a bit with this like random archways, decorative archways here. Haven't really done this in the city before. These won't be that prevalent in the city, but I want to have them, like, you know, every now and then. Yeah, I think that's all the interesting stuff here. So all the interesting stuff over there. So let's move over to here, where you can see I've added this little stream. not really like a big river, it's just a stream that goes all the way through the city. You can see it goes all the way over there to that little lake there. I'm not sure if I'm gonna continue it onwards from there or not, but for now it'll end there. And it goes through here, goes under this building here, which I think is a pretty interesting design. It's an interesting design, I think. So you have these this underground or under building stream tunnel thingy, and then this is basically a massive bridge for this little stream. And then the stream continues here. We have a bridge there, This bridge is, it marks the other side of this platform. I've started this platform, well, mostly just the road here that goes up. I started this when I was building the what even is this building again? I completely forgot. But it doesn't matter. When I built this building, I started with this platform over here to have this bridge connected, which really just connects the building itself. And it was really just this path that went up into nothing. But from the very beginning I had the plan, well, kind of obvious plan I suppose, to make this a bit of a platform. There will be a building here that will end this wall and stuff. And now this bridge will be the other side of it. So the platform will now be locked in by the main street there, this stream and that street there. And then over here, well, I will see what I'll do exactly. That's something that I still need to do, but that's the plan, it connects here. You can see these are different heights, so there will be a step, there'll have to be a step in the middle somewhere. But yeah, again, this is something that I will do that I will plan precisely in the future. Over here I have, I got bored and I wanted to do something other than just planning out roads and whatnot. So, and when planning out buildings, I suppose. And I just wanted to do some greenery again, so I just did some greenery around the little stream here. And I'm actually pretty happy with how it turned out. However, I might still change it up anyway. Not because it looks bad or anything, I think it looks amazing, but I'm not sure if it fits. Over there on the river, it very much fits, because this is like, we have the retaining wall here that hold up the paths and stuff, and the market square there and whatnot. And then down below on the river shore you have this like unkept, like this just wild river shore basically. And that fits really well. I really like that they have this cutoff with a retaining wall, and then below that they just don't care. They just let the river do whatever it does, and the plants and whatnot. And this is basically the style that I went with here, but I'm not sure if it really fits here, because this is not just something below the retaining wall where no one ever goes. This is like right where people go, and keep in mind this is supposed to be the richest city in this world. So it doesn't really make sense for them to just have this wild thing. If they have this wild place here, it would be deliberately because they wanted it here. But I don't think they would. I don't think they would want like a completely wild space here in the middle of the city. There's of course the swamp pit backyard area over there, but the idea is that is historically grown. And I will actually make separate videos about that in the future. But the idea is that's naturally grown, like historically grown, so it's just there. But generally speaking, right, and keep in mind that's the backyard area, right? That's something that you don't usually see all that much when you're just walking across the streets. But this is like right all the way along the street, so yeah, I don't think that people would do it. I think people would actually just build a little park here, and that's exactly what I might do. Just take this place and replace it with like, a park, some nice benches, maybe a bird bath or whatever, whatever I can think of. Just some nice detailing for a nice little city park. I'm not sure there. Maybe I'll do a bit of a mixture where this bit here, this more bulged out bit, will become a park, and this smaller, thinner bit here might remain wild and natural. not sure. One thing I really like about this is the view from this door. If you go at this door, now obviously this side isn't 100% finished, but if you go out here and you're basically in the middle of nature, you know, you have all this grass, all the flowers, everything, and you look up and you imagine like that over there will be a building eventually, right? So you have all this grass, all this flower here, and then you look up and you're like, there's just a wall of building because you're in the middle of the city. I like that aesthetic and I like the idea. I'm not sure if it would fit like thematically into the city though, so yeah. But that's why I'm thinking about the compromise of turning that into a park and keeping the nature area here, so you're still, if you come out of this door, you're in the middle of nature here, but then over there you actually have the park. This is something that I might do. So yeah, that's basically all of the specific planning I've done in all of this area here so far. One thing you'll also have noticed is that there's a bunch more streets on the outside here, like all of this ring street here. Hasn't been there. At first, that over there, that cross next to the building was actually a T cross going to the harbor and this way, but everything from the cross all the way over here and then across. This is new. This is something I've planned new. This road here is another one of the diagonal roads, because in city structure you usually have the market square and then you have the radial roads, like for Linshire this will be the 4 main streets, as well as that diagonal road going to the harbor. But the city didn't ever really have a diagonal road here. It should have theoretically connected up here in between this random tiny building there and the granary there, but yeah, it just didn't really fit, you know. This entire building has been built as a side street area, so it didn't really fit. So I thought, you know what, I'll just have that radial road actually link up to the other main street here and then go out diagonally, and it works out pretty well, I think. So I'm pretty happy with this. And on the other side, this will connect up with the southern gate, and from the southern gate the road all the way over there, you can see the pillar that marks off the end of the city wall. So the gate will be slightly further west there. And yeah, so the road will come in there. It will then split off, one going here connecting with this, and the other one going straight connecting with the main street somewhere over there. That's the basic plan. And yeah, that is then this is obviously the ring road. This is the concentric roads that you have in the city layout. Linshire has one specific concentric road all the way inside, you know, coming from there. You can see it's there. It goes across the backside of the tavern, and then across the backside of this you have the stable there, and then the backside of the food store basically, and then it goes through here basically. Yeah, that's basically that. One thing that I've not shown you and that I will not show you in this episode is terraforming, because I have done terraforming to the south over there, but that's not finished, so I'm gonna show that off to you in the next episode. And with that, I think we've talked about everything, so let's wrap it up. So yeah, obviously for the end of this episode I don't have a great cinematic view of new things that I've built, because everything new that I've built except for that one building is unfinished. But this is, you know, the basic view of the area now, so that's pretty neat. And with that said, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. And see you next time. Goodbye.